All right, this is a little video, a little basics introduction to our camera 1 and 2. We're looking at the Blackmagic G2, the URSA G2, and this is how we turn it on. We flick on the switch here up the top to the left, and then it'll take about 2 seconds. There it's turning on. We can see the lights turning on. I can see the monitor is turned on, and we should be ready to go right away. We've decked out the URSA 2 with a monitor, with a Fujinon lens, and some controls that I'll show you. Probably the first and maybe the biggest thing to know is the head loosening. So on the right side, we have this control, this knob that we can screw loose, and now our camera is loose. I'm holding it with my left hand, otherwise it will just fall over either way. But this is how we can loosen it, and for worship, we can kind of create that motion that we've been looking for to kind of get a little bit more dynamics in our camera 1 and 2 shots. So, other than that, I'm going to tighten it a little bit again, because we do tighten it for moments where there's just a communicator on stage. Other controls that I'm working with, I'll just have to move the camera here a little bit, is on the handlebars. So on our left here, we have focus. So we can focus in and out and get the right focus. On our monitor, it'll show more red when it is in focus. It can be a little bit tricky. Sometimes it looks like you're in focus. There's maybe some red showing, but it's always good to kind of double check if there is a bit more to get out of that. The more red you see, the more it is in focus, and that's kind of what we want. On our right side, we have our zoom in and out. So zoom in and zoom out. Now I like my speed control up here in the middle. This allows me for like quick changes. If I come out of a pull out and I'm fully wide and I want to give my switcher a tight shot right away, I can just quickly hold it all the way in, and now I'm tight again and I can give him the next shot. I still have control over slow pulls and pushes. So by just gently pushing it, I can gently create a really slow pull out. Next up, we're looking at our monitor. And so I put Carl on the stage, and I put the teach table out. And this gives us a little bit of an idea of what you'll be looking at on a Sunday. And so the idea is that we use the thirds on here. So we've divided up the screen in thirds, left to right and top to bottom. This helps us to actually frame our subject in the right place. So I can put Carl's name on the right third or on the left third like that. And then that always gives me enough room on either side to kind of give him look space. So if he's looking to the right, this allows the viewer at home to see where he's kind of looking to. Or I could put him on the other one. And now he's looking more to the left for us. But usually we try to keep him in the center like this. And then as soon as he's in either one of the thirds, I just kind of follow along with that. And I just do that gently, often just with one hand. And sometimes with two hands, I can get this like kind of jittery through the lens, and that's not really what we want to do. Okay. Another handy tool is the box around this. That actually helps us to see if we have enough headroom or not enough. Now, the top line is a nice indicator for us to actually see whether we give him enough headroom or not. And so I'm trying to always, if I go really tight on him, keep that line just on the hair, like there, top of the hair. And that's really what I'm trying to look for. I'm going to focus, out of focus now, see a little bit more red on his eyes. Now I'm in focus, and I've created a nice frame. This is where it's probably a little bit too tight even for what we usually do. But it's just to give you an idea. And you'll see if I zoom out now, and I'll do it slowly, like so. Now my headroom is way off, so we'll have to come down a little bit. And I have my head loose enough that I can still move it. So what we're looking for on a Sunday from camera 1 especially is a wider shot, but that's still with the right framing. So what we're trying to look for is the line on the head and the bottom line over here, just below his knees. We don't need to see shoes, but this is probably the right framing. You see the line is on the top of his hair, and I'm imagining this is just below the knees. And so we have a wide-ish shot. I would say it's more of a medium shot of our teacher. So this is what we want to do. And as he's moving and walking on the stage, we just follow him this way and we follow him the other way. Now for worship, we want to loosen our heads again, and we want to create a little bit of motion as we're shooting. Now, one thing that I've seen some of our operators do, they sit, which is okay, but I would say standing is way better, because what can happen when you sit, especially when you hold with two hands, is like you kind of get these like little jitters like this that don't look smooth anymore. And so when we're standing, knees are slightly bent and we move a little bit more from our body, we can create more controlled and smooth motion like this. And so that's the kind of motion we're actually looking for. So I'm imagining someone here singing, maybe playing guitar. And so I go to the guitar and I'll go up to his head. And I'm still kind of keeping him in that center box. And I'm doing a lot of motion right now, imagining it's like a big hype moment, big energy. And so I'm moving a little bit left to right, up and down, and kind of giving him that framework. And now let's say the song kind of calms down. It's just piano and maybe an acoustic. And so I'll just slow down my motions and I just do a little bit once in a while. And again, I'm moving more so from my body, not from my arms. And so my elbows are kind of tucked in, a little bit closer to the body, and I'm just swaying a little bit from my hips almost. And that gives me that smoother motion rather than kind of the shakiness that we can get from holding it too tight. Okay? And the same actually goes for when we do a follow on communicator. So I'm tight again. I'm actually not holding the camera handles right now. As we follow him, try not to do the follow like a little jerky like that, but like the smooth. I almost do it with one hand and I just follow him right and like my smooth endings. So I'm going to go to the left and I kind of soften the motion. And that way I can keep a steady frame, a steady shot on the teacher and not be too jerky. The little jittery jerkiness in the camera shots can be quite annoying for people who are actually watching online. So that's really it in short. Let me know if you have any questions.